saying, what would you say the collective of humanity needs to accept as futile at this time?
I love that question. God.
Futile.
I love this. Just give me a second. I'm like, I love that question. I haven't never been asked that question before. So the old system. I think what humanity needs to accept is futile is the old system. The old way of doing things, the old structure, the old economy, literally everything that we have built our life around for so many generations isn't working for anyone. It's, if you want to talk the more positive reason why this is all happening, because it's not a short-term game, it's a long-term game. Every person, and I'm saying without exception, every single person has been vibrationally broadcasting forth the asking for a change in system. Everyone. There's not a single person who's been benefited by this. Everybody feels trapped. Everyone feels like they can't get out of the race. Everybody feels, I could go on forever with the way that people are feeling. And when you've got that strong of a collective asking to get out of something that everybody feels like they're imprisoned by, then the universe will grant that wish. But what's ironic is when it begins to grant that wish and come in and be like, all right, it's gone. Everybody holds on to the beams and brick that makes up that reality that they were wishing would be gone.
And just as an aside, are protests, do you think they achieve anything?
Oh God, that is a loaded question. I want to say yes and no. Protests in the past have served as a way of putting enough pressure on the people in power that they have to make a change or else people fall out of favor. Do you want an example? Because Jesus is an example.
Okay, it's a good example.
Well, it's good, but all right, I'll just explain what I mean by this. At the time that Jesus was crucified, Rome was in charge of the Middle East. They owned that place. So what most people don't know is that the Jewish authorities couldn't actually carry out things like capital punishment. They weren't allowed to strap somebody to a cross and hang them. They legally could not do it. Only the Roman Church could. The Roman Church didn't care about Jesus. It wasn't a thing. But there was this, the person who had been appointed by the Romans to be in charge of that whole area of the globe was put under immense pressure by the Jewish authorities. So enough of them gathered together and got frustrated about Jesus that the Roman leader at the time found himself in a position where he either lost the favor of all the Jewish people, or he would get rid of Jesus. So that crucifixion was done by Romans, but not because they cared, because there was enough pressure put on them. So I feel like protests have the capacity to send a very powerful message, which is we're not going to put up with it. There's not going to be an immediate compliance. And so if your plan is to govern me, it's not going to go well if you do that thing. So that would be the yes. The no is we're living in a time space where, quite frankly, our governments around the world are so corrupt at this point. Anybody, the founding fathers, would roll over in their graves. Let's just talk America. The entire American political game is, in and of itself, controlled opposition. The companies who own this world right now are the ones who control both parties. You don't even end up in a position where you can get elected or even run enough for people to know who the hell you are unless you have the backing of these powerful companies. And then when you get in office, of course, you're going to do exactly what they want. So I think we're in a little bit of an illusion when we think that that's going to be what actually creates the change. So the answer would be yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay. Because